Hi, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and today I'm going to be bringing you some never seen before pill bottle crafts. So for craft number one, it's going to be a candle holder slash lantern. And what I have are is this bottle here, melatonin. It's a pretty big bottle. And I cut off the rim of it where the cap screws onto it. Or actually, no, I did it. I did it. I was going to say my husband did it, but I did it. I just used a serrated edge knife, one of the long ones, and then cut along the lines at the top to kind of make pointy edges in the sides, top of the sides. And now I just have this rope from the Dollar Tree, and out of the two ropes, it's the smaller rope, and I'm just going to hot glue that around the bottom of the bottle. Now I did have to kind of hold this down a little bit because the rope wanted to kind of pull away from it, so you do need to hold it until the glue sets up. Once I get it all the way around, I cut that off and lay the end down, glue it down. There it is. And now I have these wood pieces from Hobby Lobby. So it was a ring of these. I've already used some of them, and we're going to use 4 of the 2 sections for our project. So we want to do 1 2 section on each corner. And I want them relatively the same size. Now I'm going to put my wood glue on the part that doesn't have the, what is it? The felt on it. And I'm just going to, this felt was kind of coming loose a little bit, so I'm just hot gluing that back down. And then I put the hot glue on the felt itself. And then I glue this on one of the corners, so that one piece of wood is going to be on one side of the bottle and the other piece of wood is going to be on the other side. So just like that. And then we're just going to do the same thing to the other corners. Doing the glue the same way and putting it on the same way. And this is just that wood glue from the Dollar Tree. I really like it. And again, I just press this on either side and hold it until the glue kind of sets up, the hot glue does. And then we're going to do the other 2 sides. Same way. So there's a little opening in between each grouping of 2 pieces of wood there. And that's so we can see what we're going to put inside there. Now, some of the wood was kind of, the bark was kind of peeling off a little bit, and I just went ahead and pulled that off. So I'm going to take some more of this rope and I'm going to put it around the upper edge of the bottle. Now, I put the glue on the edge of the bottle, but looking back, I think it might have worked better if you put the glue on the rope itself. I'm just going to hold it a little bit until it sets up. And this, for me, was a little bit on the messy side, unfortunately. Like I said, it might be better if you put the hot glue on the rope instead of the bottle, because the edges of the bottle are pretty thin and the glue was kind of running down the sides instead of staying on the edge. But I think it still turned out pretty good. That was a piece of the rope. You know how shaggy those ropes can be. So as you see there, I had to add some more glue to that side. Hold it down some more. Like I said, it was a little messy, and unfortunately I did get a couple blisters from this. I wasn't too happy about that. Seems like every time I use hot glue I burn myself. And yes, I do have those rubber thingies that you get from the Dollar Tree you can put on your fingers, but unfortunately my mind, when I put them on my fingers, that particular finger doesn't want to seem to work with the glue. It wants to stick out in the air, so my fingers that aren't protected end up getting burned. So it doesn't help me very much. So I just glue it down to the best I can. I don't know if there's some other glue you could have used or not, but there it is. I think it looks pretty good. And now I'm going to add these beads into it. So these are just some shell beads that I've had forever. Got them from Fire Mountain Gems online. They were all in this one package. So I have some kind of light tan ones that I'm going to put in right now. Then I have some pinkish colored ones, and then some light brown colored ones. So I'm just going to put them in our container here. Kind of looks like shells. It's mother of pearl. Or at least I think it is. So I put 3 strands in there. Once I get them all in there, I just mix them up with my hand. Mix it, mix it, mix it. And there's what it looks like. So I think that's pretty. I like all 3 of those colors together. Now my rope was coming loose a little bit, so I'm just going to add a little bit more hot glue to that. Hold it down. And now I have one of these little candles from the Dollar Tree. Now I did at first just set it in there, but I think it looks better if you kind of move it around so it kind of sinks down in the beads there. And I think that looks better. So I'm just going to turn the light off so you can see it in the dark as it's darker. But you can see in between there, I think it looks pretty nice. I like it. Nice and rustic. And it's a pill bottle craft. So for the next one, it's going to be a plastic, fork, spoon, and knife holder. So we're going to use these pill bottles here. So these are just some white plastic pill bottles. And then actually my husband cut the tops off for me. So you cut off a little more than where you screw the lid on, because you know it kind of bends down a little bit, I guess you say. I wanted it straight across, and then we did use some sandpaper on it. And again, cut it with a serrated edge knife. And now I'm just going to glue these together with my hot glue. I was looking for the seams, but really it doesn't matter. So I glued 2 side by side, and then the third one in the center of those 2. So I'm putting down a strip of hot glue, putting that one on it, and then in between those I'll put another strip of hot glue. And then as I was trying to get them to stick together, I noticed that one part of it wasn't sticking, so I had to add some more hot glue there. And then I just hold it together for a little bit. And now I have a paper towel, and I'm just going to shred it. So I just put it in strips and then tear those strips into like 4 pieces or so. And then I have my homemade Mod Podge, which is 1 cup of either school glue or all-purpose glue from Elmer's, and a 1/4 cup of water. And it works just like matte Mod Podge. And I'm going to add that to my 3 pill bottle container now. So I just want to give you guys some ideas on what you can do with your pill bottles, because I too want to know what to do with my pill bottles, because I have a ton of them. And when I go searching for what you can do with pill bottles, it seems like it's the same stuff over and over and over, and nobody's doing anything new with it. So I was racking my brain trying to figure out some stuff I could make with pill bottles. And these 2 is what these 2 are what I came up with. And if you haven't seen my previous video that went out on Monday, I had 2 other pill bottle crafts. One was napkin rings, and the other one was a hanging floral vase, or a hanging vase that you could put florals in it. And I'll try to remember to link that video in the description. But if I don't, you could go to the playlist and just click on pill bottle crafts. And you can see what the videos that are in there, which just should be 2 right now. This one and the one that was out there on Monday. So again, I'm just Mod Podging the paper towel onto the bottles. Now, my paper towel is Viva, but it really doesn't matter. You can use toilet paper, paper towels, napkins. It doesn't matter. You just want something that your plaster of Paris is going to like cling onto. I just don't think it would cling onto the smoothness of the bottles. But if you put the paper towel and the Mod Podge on it, it gets a little hard and it's kind of rough. And I think your Plaster of Paris holds on better. However, if you've tried it without doing that, let me know in the comments. I mean, I've never really tried it before because I just figured it would slide right off. So I'm going to put the paper towel Mod Podge all around my container here. And I do put some around the top part of it a little bit that goes down inside of it. And I also put it on the bottom, and you'll see that in a little bit. And once you put a strip of your paper towel down onto the Mod Podge, you want to put Mod Podge on top of it also. So it's going to be pretty saturated with Mod Podge. And it can rip pretty easily, so you want to be careful because it's so wet. Okay, so I'm just going to let that dry for a couple hours, and now I'm back. It's all dry, and it feels kind of crusty like. So now what I want to do is go around the top part of these this container in the places that there is no paper towel. So where they're kind of connected together, there's no paper towel. So we want to put some paper towel on that. And it'll eventually cover up the hole where the 3 bottles connect and left a hole. So after I lay my paper towel down, then I go over it with the Mod Podge and then kind of push it down onto my project there with my paintbrush. You may have to break up your paper towel so it's a little bit smaller pieces. Now I'm going to turn this over and do the bottom portion. And again, we're going to cover up that hole there where the 3 come together and leave that opening between the bottles. We'll cover that up. So if you know anyone who has a lot of pill bottles and likes to do crafting, share my pill bottle crafting videos with them so they can come up and do their own crafts with the pill bottles they have. And I want to tell you that I appreciate you all watching my video and subscribing to my channels. I appreciate that. Channel, I don't have channels. Channel. Thank you so much. I'm just going to add a little bit more paper towel to the top portion of this I think it kind of sunk down in there a little bit, and I want it to come back out. And then we'll just set this aside to dry. And I'm just going to put it on top of my jar there. Okay, so now what I want to do is add and handle. The Mod Podge is all dry. And so I have this, I'm sorry, this rope from the Dollar Tree. If you find it in the garden, not the gardening section, the floral section, they have it in 2 different sizes. This is the smaller size. So I'm just going to put a lot of hot glue in between these bottles here for the handle. And I'm just going to put it, the rope all the way from the bottom to the top of the bottles there. And unfortunately, with this part of my video, I was not able to edit it. So I'm going to have to leave it all in. And hopefully you'll be able to see everything fine without it freezing up on you. I was having a heck of a time with this portion of the video. I don't know what happened. So I'm just doing the same thing on the other side. And it's, you know, when you go to pick it up, it's not going to hang straight. I do realize that. The only way it would is if you had added 2 bottles to it. But I just did this in 3 bottles. I guess you could add a 4th bottle and put like napkins in it or something, or maybe straws. But I don't mind that it doesn't hang exactly right when you pick it up. The rope, I don't know if I said this or not, but it's about 14 inches long. And now I'm going to start mixing up my plaster of Paris. Now, I do make this batch a little bit thinner than I did the batch in my previous video. And I think it helped it dry a little bit quicker. So basically what I do is I just put some in, mix it up, and just get it to the consistency I want. The package says 2 parts plaster of Paris to 1 part water, but for me, I think that's a little runny, so I add more plaster of Paris. And actually, you know, I just do the plaster and the water until I like the consistency. And this time I'm going to make it about the consistency of, I would say, probably icing that you get in the cans that's already made up. And I'm just using tap water. Now, when you clean up your containers that you're using the plaster of Paris in, I always take it outside to the spigot. I do not do it in my sink. And like I said, I just keep adding plaster of Paris and water until I get it the consistency that I want. And it probably is a little bit thinner than the icing you get that's already made up in the canister. Maybe a little bit thinner than that, but not much. But you just do what works for you. You'll know when you go to work with it if you need to make it thicker or thinner. And you do want to mix it up thoroughly. That's what it looks like. And I'm just going to take my little spoon there and start spooning it on my container there. Now I do use my spoon to spread it around. In this particular project, in my last video, I just used my fingers. So whatever works for you. And what works in one circumstance might not work in another circumstance. And I'm not going to do the bottom either. I'm just going to do all around the sides, and then I'll put a little bit on the top edges. But I'm not going to do the bottom at all. You'll have to let me know out of these two projects which one that you like the best. And you'll have to let me know if you're going to try any of these projects. And if you like what you see here, please give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And I'm making sure that I'm covering that rope with the plaster of Paris. Just the part that's glued onto the bottle. Of course, you don't want to get it on your handle. See, I'm just covering up the rope there at the bottom. So I'm just taking the spoon around the item horizontally. In my previous video for the hanging planter or hanging vase, I did it vertical and I used my fingers. So just whatever look you're going for as to what technique you're going to use. And there my plaster of Paris was getting a little hard there, so I'm just adding some more water to soften it up because I wasn't quite done. Trying to get as much as I can out of that bowl so I don't have to mix any more up. Now I'm just going to get around the upper edges of it because I don't want the paper towel to be showing around the edges. I want it to be the plaster of Paris. And you want to make sure you get that center portion there where we have that paper towel, where we covered the hole in the center. And then around all the edges. Just smoothing it out. If you know someone that might like these type of videos that I do, please feel free to share my videos with them. And now I'm just going to use my fingers to get around where the rope handle is. Just going to add a little bit more water. Just need a little bit more plaster of Paris for my item there. Scraping it for all she's worth. Did not want to mix anymore. But we're almost done. Like I said, when you go to clean this up, don't do it in your sink. You might end up stopping up your pipes. You want to take it outside and do it from your spigot outside. Okay, I think that's it. Now we're just going to have to let that dry for a while. Now it is dry. Well, okay, it's not totally dry, but it's dry enough. So I have this foam piece that has adhesive on the back side, and I'm drawing around the bottom of this on the bottom portion of the foam piece where the carrier sheet is. And then when I go to cut this out, I'm going to cut it out just a little bit smaller than what it actually is. So I'm going to go inside the lines just a bit, probably about 1/8 of an inch all around. And like I said, this foam is adhesive foam sheet. I'm not sure exactly where I got it. I've had it for a long time. I'm just going to peel the back off and then put it on the bottom of our piece there. Just need to make sure I put it on correctly. And that's how it goes. And I did not add any hot glue or any other glue to this. I just used the adhesive that's on the foam piece. So there it is. And that way it'll just protect your table or wherever you're going to put it. And now we want to paint it. Sorry you're having to see this. Like I said, I was not able to edit this portion of my video. I'm not exactly sure what happened to it, but it drove me crazy. But anyway, I'm going to be adding this acrylic gray paint to the piece all over. We're not going to paint the foam on the bottom, but we will paint the rest of it, and of course not the handle. And not the inside of the bottles either. And I'm just going to use a sponge dauber to put the paint on. And it's a light gray. I think it said it was flannel something. Not quite sure. But I just go around it all the way around, and then I do the very top edges. And then if there's any little spaces, especially down at the bottom where the foam bottom is, I do use a paintbrush to get in the crevices. There's where I got the small brush. And like I said, I'm just going in the little crevices there around the bottom where the foam meets the piece, or meets the plaster of Paris. I just really didn't want any of the white showing. of course I got some gray on my foam piece, but I'm trying to wipe that off. Just going around the top edges. Get my pouncer brush again. So you'll have to let me know if this is something you'll try to make or not. I thought it was something different that you can use pill bottles for, to put like your plastic wares in, you know, your forks, your spoons, and your knives. Do they call that cutlery? Is that called cutlery? I put wares, I don't know. You know, you call it silverware. Do you call it plasticware? Well, that's what I put on my intro picture for this. I figure if it's called silverware, it'd be called plasticware. But it's probably cutlery, isn't it? Let me know in the comments. So today's my granddaughter's birthday. She's 8 years old. She's so excited. She's into unicorns and makeup. Although I think she's too young for makeup, but she loves it for some reason. I guess all little girls do. All right, so we have all the gray on there, and now I'm just taking my lighter and I'm going around the handle because that thing was pretty furry. And so I'm just burning off the pieces that are hanging all over it. Now, when you do this, please be careful. You don't want to burn yourself. And it does give it a darker look, which I kind of like. Uh-oh, my video got stuck. And now I'm going to use this bird's egg, I believe is what it's called. Green. It's kind of a... Well, it's green. That's all I can tell you. Kind of a bluish green, I guess, maybe. And I'm using a smaller pouncer brush for this. And I'm not going to do full coverage or anything, but I'm going over the gray. I want you to be able to see some of the gray there. It's one of my favorite colors, the bird's egg. I don't know why my video keeps freezing up. Sorry about that. I was having some issues, let me tell you, with this video. Serious issues. Look, there it goes again. I don't know what was happening. I don't know if it's my phone or my camera. But boy, it was really frustrating me. I thought I was never going to get this video out. Now I'm just going to dry this with my heat gun so we can get this finished and show you what it looks like. So here's the cutlery I'm going to use, or the plasticware. And actually each section holds about 12 pieces of the plasticware. So I put like 10 in mine, but it will hold up to about 12. So forks, spoons, and knives. Like if you're having people over and you're using paper plates and stuff, you can set this out and they can get their cutlery from the container there. And like I say, if you do, well, if you do 4 and you put napkins in it, you kind of have to roll them up. And then when they go to pick them out, they'd have to take the whole thing out. So that might not be very convenient, but you could do another section and put straws in it. There it is. And here's a picture of it sitting there. Is it going to show you? It's not going to show you. Nice. And it's not going to show you the other stuff either. Oh, here it is. There it is. And there's the 2 pieces. Okay. Again, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts. And if you haven't subscribed, would you consider subscribing to my channel? I would appreciate it. And if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you in the next one.